So let's edit the same photo on Lightroom and on Snapseed. I can only use their free version, and I want to see what is the end result when I can't use the two at the same time, because I normally use the two to make thumbnails to channels with over 12 million subscribers. But now I have to choose which one is the best. So if you want to know that and much more, stay tuned until the end of the video. Hi everyone, Marcus here from madpack, and if you love tech and practical tips, this is the place for you. This one is always the first app that I use, so that's why I'm going to start editing this one here, and after I edit exactly the same file in there. Obviously I always start with the light in here, and the exposure I always drop, the contrast I increase just to increase the difference between the dark and the bright parts of the photo. Here I don't need to put it even brighter because my skin is already burning a bit, so I'll bring it down. As you can see, to do that you just have to press on the screen and you'll be able to change. So as you can see, here is burning the photo, and when you don't have those marks is when it's good. When you arrive in the colors, I have already said you can edit the color, the temperature, the vibrance, the saturation, and so on and so on, but I prefer to edit color by color. Here I don't even have to basically look. This is just to saturate more the blues, and you definitely can see that on the helmet in there. So if I drop, you see is affecting in there, but when I'll do a small trick in a minute, is going to make a massive difference to this photo, I believe, because like I said, I normally edit this on Lightroom after I jump in Snapseed and I come back to Lightroom, but here I'll not be able to do the second step, obviously. I just have changed a bit here the saturation. As you can see, that's the generic, because obviously I can't use Snapseed. So just to see where I can take this photo. I find it a bit too blue at the minute, so I don't want so much. Let's leave it like this. Texture, I always bring it down slightly, otherwise it's going to sharp too much the photos. You can basically have to sharp a bit by increasing the clarity, and it looks smoother, if it makes sense. Here the vignette, I always put a bit of vignette, not too much. It's just to guide the eyes to look, in this case, to the helmet and to my face. Here I normally don't touch anything, but since I don't have anything else, I'm going just to add a bit of grain. Let me see the details. Here I will sharp a bit, 25, 26. Can increase a little bit more the details, and that will help, for example, the helmet to look a little bit sharper. Bit of masking, a bit of noise reduction, because that will allow me to increase the details. And here on the bottom, as you could see, I normally like to drop the smoothness, because I don't want that it smooth too much the photo, otherwise it looks too fake. I'm happy with this end result until now. I remove the CA and I enable lens correction, but to be honest, it's not going to basically do anything. That's basically the maximum that I can do. Blur amount, I can also do that. No, I can't, because this is paid, so I can't do that. I'm not just happy with the color itself. I need to just go there again. And that's the problem, because here, since it's a bit limited, let me just see if it's affecting the face. Yeah, it's affecting the face, so I'm going just to reduce until it's not really affecting the face, and now it looks more natural. So I don't use a lot this tool that you basically press and it'll show you that specific color, but I normally used to see the difference, how it was a thumbnail and how it is now. So you can see a massive difference already. Obviously, since I can't really use the other tool, is a bit frustrating, because I can do things that I will like, and I know that with this free version I'm very limited. Since I have already done what I want, this is not finished, so I'm saving this photo. Nobody told me that I couldn't do the step 3. I'm going to now open that photo, edit again. Here I can't do much more, because it doesn't allow me to do much more than that. It's really interesting how much it affects your brain to go out of your comfort zone, and I'm feeling really lost, because I need to try to do things that I never done with my thumbnails, and I need to open a little bit more here, standing out a bit more. And now let me just increase here in clarity. I'm feeling very uncomfortable, because the colors are definitely not coming like I would like, but is what it is. I can't do much more than that. So, and obviously with all this light on top of me, it's not so easy to look to the screen that I have in here. Effects I have already put in there. I'll give a bit more grain just to make it more natural. Details, I'll sharp just slightly. Noise reduction, I don't think I really need, but let me just go again here, and highlights, I'm going to see how much I can pull. Can't really pull anything in here, and that's the problem. And I think the blue is a bit too much, but I'm going to reduce maybe a bit of the luminance because it's too much, but I think it's guiding the eyes to look towards the face. So this is really important when you do thumbnails, is that the colors, they also guide where you are going to look. It's not just a vignette and stuff like that. I'm not completely happy with this thumbnail, but that's the game here. So now we are going to jump into Snapseed, that I believe I can do much more, but let's start doing the fine tuning here. I never use this app to do this because it's much more limited than the Lightroom. But let's see, contrast, saturation, we're going to leave, where is it? Ambience makes the eye slightly lighter, if you look, can you see? So it makes the eye on the left a little bit lighter. You see, now obviously I'm exaggerating just for you to see. That's not too bad. Highlights, I need to reduce a bit, otherwise this part here of the face next to the nose is basically burning. Shadows, I'm going to open them slightly. In here, I don't have basically anything else that I can do. Next, details. I never use also this tab here. So I can, oh, okay, that's not bad. Sharpening, I can also sharp and also do a very good job. Okay, better than I thought. Very interesting until now. Things that I don't even think about it to do on Lightroom. And I could have done this on Lightroom, to be honest. Could have put some curves, leave it like this. White balance, I don't think that I need to do this. Can add a little bit of yellow here. But the problem here is going to be the blues. I will not be able to pull out the blues with this app. I have already done that. Now that I have done that, I'm going to use all the beats that I normally use here. So HDR is going to do an amazing job. Even I have to say that it works better when I just tune the photo directly here, but is missing the rest, obviously, the blues and stuff. Saturation seems balanced for me. Let's add some drama that I normally like to add here. Saturation will maintain the saturation like it is. And we are going to start using my favorite part, that is the brush. So when I use the brush, I like to start with the highlights. And obviously here next to my face, I don't need to highlight anything more because it's already even burning a bit. For example, here next to the eye, I can highlight a bit more. Here, even inside the eye, I can make it lighter just to make that shiny part to come out. And the white parts of the eye, I can also make it brighter, so it makes the eyes already popping out slightly more than they were. I never use more than a +5 because otherwise it's too much. You can also see how much you are affecting the area, so it's the mask here, you see, but I never really use the mask. I just follow my guts and see where it takes me. It's really a powerful tool that you have in here. So you can see I have already make that part stands out a little bit, but now I'm just curious to see if I can pull out a bit of the blue here, but yeah, not really. Even here, the houses and stuff, not really what I'm used to do, but I think I can make it stand out a little bit more, because if I do this and I open again another brush, I can go back there and increase even more. And in this case, I'm just going to give a little bit in the blue, not exactly what I normally do. Now let's go back to the tool, just increasing that shadow. Here also a little bit more, the curvature, so it's just to increase the expression on my eyes. Here the same, okay, and there also next to the nose. So my expression is much brighter. Let's make my teeth a little bit more white. It's okay. Here on the neck I can also give a bit of light just to give a little bit more of 3D dimensioning. And let's start on the helmet. here it's okay. It's just I can't pull out the amount of colors that I'm normally able to pull out on Lightroom, but yeah, not too bad, but a bit disappointed obviously with the results when we talk about colors. The surrounding more yellow, because in that way I can control which part is more yellow and which part is basically less. That will be obviously my skin tones. I don't want to affect them. I'm enjoying the end result. So we are going to change the effect, in this case some shadows. Here is a bit darker, the same here, and this is just to give a little bit more volume to the photo, and here definitely to make the stand out a bit more, and the eye also I'm going to make it darker. So everything that is expressions you want always to make it darker, because it's going to increase the expression of the face that you are working on. Here, let's just make my piercing a bit brighter so it's more noticeable. And let's go back to shadows just to make this nose stand out a little bit more. Here also, I like always to put my beard a bit darker because it's going to, and in this case, is giving always give a bit of color. And if I want to just reduce the saturation, I can reduce the saturation on the beard slightly. I can do it like this, should be okay. Now let's continue to give a bit of shadows, increase the contrast, and now let's work here. Also, when I'm trying to do lines, you are not working really precisely, otherwise it's going to be noticeable that you've done that specific line. So just have that in consideration when you are working with this. So sometimes you need to go really close, but if you want to do something that is slightly bigger, you always want to go away, otherwise it's going to make it more visible that you done something. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create that the reflections in here are more visible than they were previously. So if I want just to show you where we are, let me see if I can show you before and after. So this was when we started, this last changes, and this is now, okay? So let's now continue with my shirt. So that's why I really think that I'll be able to deliver better results with this one than with Lightroom, but let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen. But I definitely think that you can go so much more in details with an app that is fully free. I found it crazy, man. This app is insane, but obviously I was not expecting that I could do better when we talk about colors. That definitely was not going to happen whatsoever. Let's continue here. So I'm just putting some of the shadows. I'm not really working with the lights so much because it's already quite bright, and I'm just going to brighten slightly where it's brighter, just to increase the contrast that is happening already, but nothing more than that. So you see here is more detail, so I want just to come closer. But if it's an area that is bigger, I don't like to go too close, otherwise it's noticeable that you touch the photo. But you start feeling it, and slowly it becomes more like a natural thing for you to do. But in the beginning, you may have to erase a few times what you are doing and do it once again. Okay, and now I'm going back to some shadows just to make my hands stand out much more than is already standing out now. So it's going to be a little bit more dramatic if you want. As you can see now, my hand stands out much more than it was before. Just make my lips stand out slightly more. Okay, here we can also make a little bit. Here let's put a little bit brighter. Obviously when I'm doing this for you guys, I really go in details. Here I'm just doing like more free, otherwise we'll stay here for hours and hours. It already gives you a good understanding of the potential that you have by using this one on its own. Yeah, I really miss the colors that you get with the Lightroom. It's really, really something that I love on the Lightroom. Like for example here, let's just make this part much more red just to stand out a bit more because it lost a lot of the color. There is not much more than I can do to make this photo stand out a bit more, but I think it's good. So you can see how it was before and how it is now. So I'm going to export this one and let's see side by side which one is the best for you guys. So now we have here the end results and I want to hear your thoughts. So this is the original file, so without any editing. Here is what we accomplished by using only Lightroom. And I have to say to you guys that I found that the photo is too dark, because I'm really used to use Snapseed to increase the brightness in the points that I want, and I like that I can paint my photo and increase the brightness in the points that I want. But I really like to use the color grading on Lightroom. I think this is much more powerful than Snapseed, and you can go much more in detail like we talked during the video, during this time that we were editing these photos together. When we pass here, we can see a massive difference. We can see that the face is popping out much more. And if I had to choose, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I will choose maybe the one done on Snapseed, but I like more the cinematic look that Lightroom by itself it can deliver. But let me know your thoughts and which ones do you prefer. So this was the end results by only using one of the two apps that I use every single day to make the thumbnails for you guys. Next week we will be talking about all the accessories that I use to film these videos for you with my iPhone, because at the minute I'm filming with my iPhone. And also, if you want to know a little bit more how to make these thumbnails in 13 minutes like a pro, I'll definitely have done a video that I'll leave here for you guys to check it out.